Was poppin', was poppin', was poppin'. Welcome to Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And today, we're going to do something different. It's going to be kind of an introvert versus extrovert kind of vibe. Clearly, I'm the extrovert. Clearly, he's the introvert. Is it clearly? I don't know if it's clear. But I think you already know the vibes. If you are new, you'll figure it out. Moose, how are you feeling about this episode?
I like this. I think this gives us an opportunity to be more of ourselves, introduce the podcast world to who are the people behind Nicky and Moose after all. So I think this is a nice little remix for the holidays.
And it's not really us against each other. We're going to put celebrities into this. So this should be fun. But let's get into the intro.
Two kids from Queens, cut from a different cloth. Now joining forces, helping you to elevate your personal brand. Yeah, I'm talking about Nicky and Moose, bringing you a never-before-seen perspective into the mindset, the mentality, the behaviors, the driving force, but more importantly, the stories behind the people and brands that you know and love the most.
So, of course, you know we always got to start it off with the review of the week. And this one is done by JJ313. Nothing but greatness in every episode. I always mess this up. I don't even know why. But nothing but greatness in every episode. Every episode has...
do the voice. Do the voice,
I'm sorry.
Give
them.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
I like the voice.
Every episode has been nothing but greatness. When Nicky drops anything, it's bound to be worth listening to or getting. Thank you both. This podcast. For what? Did he mean for this podcast? I don't know. Godspeed.
We know what we meant.
Hendo. You know the vibes.
Thanks, Hendo.
Man, that was a struggle. And real quick, a lot of people, shout out to our audio listeners, wherever you're hearing this from, and shout out to the YouTube viewers. But a lot of the YouTube viewers were like, Nicky Moose, how did you get this set up? We've been using Ecamm, right? Shout out to Ecamm. So anybody who is interested in that, there's a 14-day free trial. If you just go to nickyandmoose.com/Ecamm, it'll be in the show notes. But a lot of people have been asking, so I just wanted to address that real quick. But let's get into this episode.
Hey.
So, Moose.
Ma'am.
We're going to be doing introvert versus extrovert, right? But celebrity style, right? So I get two, you get two, right?
Okay. I like
that
this.
Fair?
I like this, yeah.
You like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like this.
Okay, so if you had two, out of all the people, and let's be a little bit more specific. We're going to go based off people we've gone over this year, whether it's from the Facebook show or the podcast, right? Both of us have picked from the Facebook show, just to make it a little bit new for our podcast listeners, because we have a lot of new podcast listeners. So, Moose, who is your two?
Hey.
Your two celebrities.
Yeah, I'm gonna start, man, with to honor the late great Kobe Bryant. Start with Kobe.
Okay.
And next I'm gonna do J.Cole.
Okay. And as far as Team Extrovert, right? I'm going to pick Kanye West, and of course, the person who just had a fight, Mike Tyson. Hey. So, do we flip a coin? What do we do? What do you want to do? How do you want to do this?
If I had a coin handy, I don't
have a coin. You know what? I'm going to say introverts first, just because y'all always are behind the scenes and stuff. So it's only right.
Fair enough.
It's only right. Fair enough?
Selective, yeah, I get it.
You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? I'm trying to do this. So who do you want to go first? Do you want to do J. Cole or do you want to do Kobe? Ooh.
Let's do Kobe first. Yeah, let's do Kobe first.
Kobe first.
Introduce
All right.
the people to the Kobe.
Okay, so we're going to do Kobe first. This is, where was this interview from?
This is from, wow, I just said his name to you earlier.
Matt Barnes
and Steven Jackson podcast. Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
I
all
know
right.
the name of it though. Yeah,
We'll get the name in the show notes. Don't kill us. Don't kill us.
Right.
You got a lot of young players that's reaching out to you now.
Yeah.
You know, your advice to them, like what you tell them, like how does that feel?
Depends what they ask. I mean, like a lot of them will come and ask about their game and things that they should do and things like that. And I say, listen, you know the answer to that. I don't know. Like, you know what makes you uncomfortable when you play. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing for kids nowadays is that they want to rely on coaches too much and workout guys. You know, which is fine to have them help you work out, but you have to tell them what you need. Right? You have to be able to say, okay, I feel uncomfortable with this. And if you don't know, then you're not as prepared as you should be, right? You need to know what your strengths and weaknesses are first. And then, you know, I can tell you some of the things, some of the rhythmic things or some of the exercises or how much repetition you need to be doing on certain things. But you got to know your game.
Love that. Love that. Yeah.
This could be broken down in so many different ways, though.
So many ways.
So many different ways. You go for it first.
Yeah. So, man, this is the reason why I picked this specific clip, y'all, right? Especially for my introvert squad, is because we are definitely those people who need constant confirmation. We need constant feedback, constant approval of, yes, this is right, keep going. And we've heard so many people talk about it on the show, either ones that we have played their clips or people that we've brought on and interviewed and said, hey, tell us about your secrets. How did you build your brand? How did you build your business? And they all talk about this constant factor of trusting their intuition, being authentically them. At some point, as an introvert, you have to embrace what you bring to the marketplace. Because we've talked about the value factor before and said that whatever is most valuable is typically rare in its existence, meaning that there's not much of it. I've been taking L's like crazy on the sneaker app, and we've been laughing about it legit the last 3 or 4 months. Like, yo, every single week, L, nope, sorry. I'm just like, yo, what Illuminati is behind this? For real, seriously, I need to know, right? You told me to get multiple screens, and I got multiple screens, and guess what? I got multiple L's. So where I would normally get just one, unbelievable, yo, unbelievable. But guess what? It's because Jordan has put the value on his product that it's rare.
Right.
And because it's rare in its existence, its price is high, its demand is high, and it sells out every single week religiously nonstop. So what I'm saying is, when we're constantly seeking approval, there's a difference between feedback and approval, right? Like, or there's a difference between, hey, I need an adjustment versus, hey, tell me if I'm doing this right. If we're constantly seeking that, you water down your genius. So I can go on this for days, Nikki, but I'm just going to kind of introduce it at least right here. I'm really curious to know even a little bit from your perspective as well, not so much as an introvert, because clearly you're an extrovert, but just that concept of there was a point where clearly, and we talked about it, where you started stepping into your zone like, yo, I'm just about to be straight up and down Nikki. Like just fully Nikki, right? Talk to us a little bit about that, because I think that piece is important for everyone listening right now. Because again, as you listen to Kobe, the part that I like the most is he's saying, yo, you're going to a coach and you should know what's wrong, right? Like you at some point should know, hey, here's the problem, here's what I need fixing with, but not that I want to walk by your side and you tell me what to do and I run out and do it. Talk to us about that a little bit.
So, I mean, it goes back to that last part that he said with understanding your strengths and weaknesses, right? So what like me and you've been really big on is really reading into the flight assessment, flightassessment.com, small plug, right? But reading into the assessment and really figuring out our highs and lows, like what is our talents and what are our non-talents, right? And so the only real time that truly stepped into just being Nikki was when I identified both. Like, I didn't have to play guessing games. I didn't necessarily have to trial and error anymore. I knew this is what I'm dope at and this is what I lack at. You know, this is where I have to either figure out something that can be a system to automate this thing, or I should just find somebody else to do it, right? But also, what's interesting about what he said, and I'm thinking from a branding standpoint, right, is you have to know before even approaching anybody the strengths and weaknesses. And that's also like with not only with yourself, but like with your brand. What are the gaps that it could fill? What can it really do for the audience? What can, you know, the value it adds, but as well as understanding your audience as well, because you could look at it from a standpoint of Kobe is now the coach and all these people are coming to him like, hey, just help me. I don't know what, but help me. And as a coach, you can't necessarily be effective because you don't have the answers for everything, right? You have specific answers, specific solutions. So I think also from a standpoint of like a brand and a business side of things, like you are what Kobe was as the coach. And so you have specific solutions for your audience, aka the players, right? You have to help them identify what they're looking for. You have to say, this is what I do, so they could approach you like, I need this coach. I need this brand. Help. Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's why it's important for us as, you know, brands to be like, oh, okay, I have these specific solutions. Because I think that's why also why he said, yo, you know what you need, right? You know that because he also knows like, I can't solve everything.
Right.
So I need you to identify to see if this is a perfect fit. Because if you come to me with just help me in basketball, and though I am the best of the best, there's still, I can't help you in generic things. Like maybe I don't know how to go back to the very beginning. Right. Maybe I can't teach you how to have handles. Maybe I can't teach you the basic shooting joints, but I know certain defense situations. I know certain advanced techniques. And so if you don't know what you want or what you want to improve, I'm not that person for you.
Right.
Right? And I look at that for even myself, like I'm not for everybody. I'm for specific like personal brands, right? And so big companies and everything like that, yo, I have a social media problem. I have a content problem. What exactly? I can't necessarily help you, right? But if a personal brand goes, yo, I have content problems, I can't come up with ideas. All right, we could talk about that, you know? So that's one of the things. And I know like he was meaning from a coach and a player standpoint, but we have to look at it from just all aspects of, because Kobe's even Mamba mentality can be flipped into just life lessons.
Sure.
And so I look at that clip as like, shoot, if you were a coach, like even a life coach or consultant, that could be a lesson from the strengths and weaknesses thing, from a branding standpoint, from business standpoint, that could be because it's so important to really identify and hone in on those strengths and weaknesses. And I know you don't like saying weaknesses, but it's just the common theme that everybody says.
No, I know it's the word that is used to describe weaknesses. That's fine. I'm good with that. I'm against it because I feel that there's a way to diminish weaknesses or to lower weaknesses or to defeat them in a sense. But no, I'm with you. I like how you spun that though, to be honest with you. Shout out to you, by the way. My soundboard is a little too far. I want to press a button and give you like a drop or something. But now I'm just like, yo, that's crazy. You just spun the whole basketball analogy into a branding lesson, but it's real. It's real. It's very real. And it applies, right? It applies because I think we've definitely gotten to a place where we've complicated. And most people, when you look at them, again, this is regardless now, it crosses either extrovert or introvert. They get to a point where they make it look so easy. Mm-hmm. It's just seamless. Like they're in a groove, consistent. They're doing it regularly.
Yep.
Because they have not complicated the process. They're not constantly second guessing themselves. They're not stopping, writing, deleting, rewriting. Again, these are all introverted problems, and I know them because I've lived them. Mm-hmm. And I've had to make my own personal adjustments to overcome that and just kind of take what Kobe mentioned in that clip and say, all right, what are the adjustments? Like there are certain seasons in your life where you're just strictly in student mode. So you may go to a coach for the purpose of, hey, teach me what you got. Right. Here's my goal. I can't tell you specifically what I want, but from a big picture standpoint, here's what I'd like to achieve. Teach me.
Right.
Teach me what you got. But at some point, you gotta cut that off and reproduce what you learned, right? Or like adding your spin to it and putting that back to the marketplace. So yeah, no, Fire Clip, I wanted to lead off that. Again, and shout out to Kobe, man.
Shout out to Kobe. Next one is J.Cole.
And are you gonna go back to back?
You want to go flip? Okay, all right.
Yeah, let's do.
You want to do that kind of back? Okay, yeah. All right. I wanted you to stack it, but all right, we out here.
I thought like the versus mode. We're gonna, but no, it's not a battle, but it's a. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, we're not doing verses because it's not gonna be Kobe versus Kanye because that's crazy. Well, no, I'll do athlete versus athlete. So I'll do.
Oh, you got Tyson? Yeah.
I got Tyson. I got Tyson in these streets. Okay. So here is Mike Tyson.
That's all I focused on. That's why I didn't want anything. I just wanted to fight. All I did was watch fights all day. Just from guys from 1890s to now. Just watch them all day. That's all I did because that's all I wanted to be.
Yeah.
That's all I knew. I knew all the etiquette about fighting, everything. Anything you asked me about fighting, I could tell you. How did it begin? How did it start? I knew everything about fighting.
Cuss believed that a boxer's thoughts should only be about fights. Only an obsession could lead to success.
So, I'll start this one off. I think it's self-explanatory as far as maybe why I picked this clip. Just because you have to, and as cliche as it sounds, you have to be obsessed with your craft. Like, if you're really trying to be the best at what you do, you can't do this sparingly. You can't do this on a Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. You have to wake up wanting to do it. Wake up at 2:48 in the morning and be like, yo, there's a problem. Oh, okay. So did you format it in this kind of way? Like, you should know without taking the cold out of your eye how to solve something or be the best at it in your craft, because that's how all the greats were. They were obsessed with, like Kobe was obsessed with basketball. Michael Jordan was obsessed with basketball. Mike Tyson was obsessed with boxing. Any of the greats that you have, they were obsessed with their craft, right? And, I'm going to spin it to what I do, right? When we look at from a social media standpoint and all the people who are like, I can't grow, I'm not growing, like, are you obsessed with your own brand? Like, are you on it every single day? Are you sparingly with it? Like, I'm not asking you to be on it 24/7, but you should care for it every single day. You should be involved with it every single day as part of what you do, as part of your brand, right? What are you learning more in your industry? How have you studied your competitors? And the great thing about how we do this podcast and just learning from that, it's just different lessons that we can take from how he became number one is how we can become number one. If he like woke up, ate, dreamed, talked about boxing, do we have that same energy for our craft and our brand and business? If we don't, then we're not going to get to certain statuses like a Mike Tyson, like a Kobe, like a Kanye, and everybody else. Say what you want about Kanye. I'll get into that. But I think when we look back at Mike and we look how, the fear that people had of him, the the accomplishments that he had, all the money that he had, everything like that. It was because all he knew was boxing. So even later down the line, when it came to real life, like he didn't even know how to deal with real life because all he knew was boxing.
Yeah.
Right? So this podcast never condones any of the bad stuff or anything like that, but I want to acknowledge it a little bit. But it's still the part that he was glorified for. And he just did a fight a few weeks ago against Roy Jones Jr. Was it weeks ago? I feel like it was like last week, but a few weeks ago, depending on when you hear this podcast, right? And still looked amazing. And I think that
his training videos leading up to that were ridiculous.
Crazy. But you think about it, because he was so obsessed with it before, it's like riding a bike. Like you can't, let me get this rust off real quick, but I'm back. I'm back. Like I never left, right? Because there was some shots that I thought Roy Jones was gonna go. I thought he was gonna go. It was gonna be bad. He held on
and
a little bit too much.
A lot of people thought he won that. Yeah, a lot of people thought he won that.
Who?
Tyson, that is.
Tyson.
A lot of people thought Tyson won that. It wasn't a tie. But I think they just did it like as a respecting, like, yo, let's end it in a tie. It was, entertainment.
Of course they did. Of course. But at the same time, I'm like, we all know who won. We all know you were holding on a little bit for dear life. You got hit and you're like, no. But
right.
Like I said, and I want to get your standpoint of the clip, but it's because he worked so hard in the beginning years. And what we know of Mike Tyson, when he got back in the ring, it was like we expected him to win. Like we expected him to look that good, even at what, 50? Is he 50?
Up there. He's up there.
Yeah. Like he still looks like he could compete if he wanted to. No questions about that. The speed, and I think it was just slowed down because it was not a real fight. So that's what I'll say.
And after all the craziness too.
Oh, facts. What do you guys say about the clip?
Yeah, I mean, his dedication, and it's not something that is forced onto you, because I think that there's a reason why we talk about the concept of strengths and superpowers and finding your unique lane. When it's something that you want, you add passion to obsession. Like you're passionate about what you're studying. So the energy almost recycles itself. Like you're really into it. It never stops. When it's not what you want, and again, this is one of my main quotes for 2021. Of course, it's from the book that we're reading, Ray Dalio's Principles books. And he said, money is not a byproduct of excellence. Money is a byproduct of excellence, not a goal. Money is a byproduct of excellence, not a goal. So when you pursue something...
First of all, you're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
I'm telling you.
That was good.
Major, right?
That was good.
Major.
You see the late delay? I was like, wait.
Yeah. That is one of the main pillars that I just want to remind myself and others of for the new year. Like, yo, at some point, you have to go beyond just paying your bills. At some point, you have to go just beyond making sure you got yourself a new client, a new gig, a new customer, a new whatever to keep you rolling, and start really asking yourself, yo, what's the bigger picture here? Like, what are we really doing? What is this after all, right? And I think once we shift our focus from money to excellence at that thing that we so rightfully choose, the game changes. The game changes. So there was even a training that we were on last week, and it was with some of the top advisors from JP Morgan and Chase. So the top 400 people in the entire country, they have over 4,000 branches. The top 400 were on the call. And the answers, the knowledge, the chemistry, the camaraderie amongst their team, and their desire to learn more is so pure, like it's so easy to recognize, because there's a passion for the industry. There's a passion for what they do. All right. So I think definitely from a business standpoint, even a branding standpoint, if you want to go that far to speak about it, that when you begin to really combine your passion with your obsession, and I know that you're like, oh, but that could be the same thing. No, it's different. You're passionate about something, right? You're naturally interested in it, and then there's an obsession to be good at it or excel at it. That combination is a deadly thing. So, yeah, Mike Tyson is great, man. Again, his life, unfortunately, went through some challenges after his trainer passed, but he's turned it around nonetheless and doing some incredible things. So it's awesome to see that come around for him.
Yeah, shout out to our early day one people who saw the Facebook Live show with the Mike Tyson. That was we were talking about it earlier. That was definitely we thought it was gonna be one of the best shows. So many highlights, and Mike has some troubling times, but what he's accomplished, what he's accomplished and what we could all learn from when he was at his height is still irreplaceable. So shout out to Mike Tyson. All right, it's your turn.
Cole World.
You ready for Cole?
You remember the infamous battle that we had on the J.Cole episode? We went 2.5 hours on that episode. This was early Nicky and Moose.
Yeah, it's if anybody's interested on it, it's on YouTube. It's our very first upload on YouTube. He was very passionate about it, and even some people afterwards was like, Moose, yeah, no. And how's everybody on Nicky's side? This is crazy.
I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it, but yeah, I'm with it.
Yeah, so we're not going to get into the debate because Moose likes me today. So go check out the very first upload of the YouTube channel, and it is the debate, or just go to the Nicky and Moose debate playlist that we have, which we need to debate something else. So all the listeners and viewers, if you want us to debate about something, tweet us or hit us up in the DMs or something, because I can't debate with him on anything lately. It's the weirdest thing. But let's get into J. Cole.
You don't have to have the features. You don't have to drop the single. You don't have to have the radio record before they put your album out. You don't have to follow them rules. You can put out what you love and still sell records if you connecting with people. It ain't gonna be overnight.
Yeah.
You do art first and then build the business around that. That's what I figured out, and that's what I've been doing.
The art first.
Definitely.
I'm gonna let you go
Cold
because
world.
I know I can
Cold.
go on this one.
Cold world. Yeah, no, and you know what? This is for some of the people who are super analytical, right? Like extremely strategic. Like you're so systematic, and you really have to think through all the pieces.
I see the
I think
keywords. I see the keywords.
You know what I'm
I see
saying?
what you did there. I see what you did there.
Trying to play it right, but it's definitely for those folks who identify as such and never give themselves permission, to do things out of order, because in your mind it has to be perfect first, right? Or it's got to be a certain way. And I think you get to see an awesome example of one of the best artists of our generation. And yes, I just did say that.
That's big. That's big.
Yeah.
That's big. I don't know. He just dropped the bomb.
I'm gonna hang my hat on that. I'm a big J. Cole fan. I like J. Cole's work a lot. I think there's
I'm gonna
a
let
lot
that
of,
go still. I'm gonna let that.
Yeah. But anyway, but my point is, regardless of how you feel about him, you can't argue that the man is successful, right? In his specific lane, in his industry, you can't argue that he's successful. And when you listen to the full length of that interview, he's really talking about how when he started with Jay, he was so caught up in the like living up to the expectations and the business and this. But that's not who he was. So sometimes you really just got to give yourself permission to do things out of order sometimes so that you can let some sort of momentum begin to build up. And once that happens, right, what you're going for begins to, you get a nice little rhythm going. It's like you start, instead of pushing uphill all the time, it's like you turn a corner and start coming downhill now. It's a little easier, right? Like you find your rhythm, you find your momentum, you find your flow. So I like that he says that, because I think for a lot of people, you see it one way. Or here's another thing that we often see, and I'm trying to merge worlds, right? Like going into some of the things that I hear or problems that I see with teams and businesses or organizations and bringing it into this context. One of the biggest challenges that people are having right now, and why they're struggling in their businesses to keep open or to keep people engaged through working in virtual spaces, is that they have not adapted or changed. They want to stick to how they did things traditionally. And in today's world, nothing is traditional about COVID. Like nothing that we used to do is the same today, right? Like literally, if you think about your entire year, everything, how we do everything has changed. So another part of that, what creates a challenge, is for those who are just stuck in the past, how it was done or how they see others doing it. So you're trying to follow those blueprints. That's when it doesn't line up, Nix.
I agree. I think this clip hits more from my creative side, because it shows that you don't necessarily have to move with money first. You don't necessarily have to move on the business side first. It all comes together when you honestly love what you do. Like you're honestly doing it because you want to. I think you put more energy towards the things you have passion, the love for, the things that you create, the things that you do. You have more love for it than the things that you feel like you have to produce. The things that they tell you to do, the things that they force you to do. Though the check may be good, the opportunities could be blessed, it's still not going to be the same compared to what you want to put out, right? And when we look at it from kind of like an artist standpoint of any sort, right? We think of sometimes the people first. So if we're talking about music, what's going to be the hit? What's going to get people, rocking it in their cars and the clubs and everything like that? what is going to have radio play when that was a situation. And it's not until maybe you're probably third or fourth album till you're like, I created this for me. Like I've created such a solid fan base that now I can start creating stuff for me and I know they're going to rock with me. Like they get to see my true side. And if we look at how J. Cole did his first album was to be on the charts, was to impress Jay and be like, yo, I got a radio hit, with Workout. And we look at that, and even from a standpoint of how we are online, like we always look for that viral hit. We always look for what can make people like really rock with this kind of content. And it really is something different when you create what you want to create and that hits and that works. And that's what people are buying into. And people are buying not only into what you create, but everything around that. So when he said that, it brought confirmation that you don't necessarily have to go with what the blueprint was before. You can now create your own blueprint based off your passion and your love and your energy towards what you want to create. And create doesn't necessarily mean from an artistic standpoint only. It can mean from a business standpoint. Like, what business do you want to create? And if you have passion for it, if you have energy for it, it doesn't necessarily have to go the same route as everybody else did.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you think about it too, like in today's world, there are no rules. There are no rules. People are doing things backwards, upside down, reverse order, remix all the time. Because there are other elements that are becoming more important.
Right.
Like the element of connection.
Right.
And the element of honesty. Just being 100% like very straightforward and direct. That's another element that now is really coming before and breaking records than someone who has traditionally done things in the perfect order of how it needs to go. And don't get me wrong, there are elements, like there are universal laws that you need to follow. Right? Like you cannot say, well, I'm about to do things backwards. I'm going to put gas in my car after the engine blows up. It's like, okay, buddy, my friend, that's a universal law, right? Like you have to, the gas comes first, right? Like that's just, I'm not saying go crazy with it, right? But there are some things that today, honestly, it doesn't matter like what order you follow or how you go about it. So, yeah.
These are facts. These are all facts. Shout out to J. Cole. And now, see, this is weird. Praise God we have like a bonus one because I don't want to end with this one.
Right.
I don't want to, listen, I have made it very known that regardless of what people say, I think I've learned the most about this individual because of his complete freedom of speech.
Correct.
Because his complete creativity and his ways of the world and how it makes people feel like it's okay to live in a bubble. Because when you think about it, it isolates you from other people's influence. And so he created his own thought process. And to sit there and say that he's wrong, but where are you getting your information and your influence from? Like, he got me thinking all random stuff. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, we're talking about Kanye. So let's get into this clip.
Anybody ever said in life would be a disadvantage to me, I'm gonna make it my advantage. When I was playing basketball, everybody said I was too short. I'm killing them with the scoops, you know what I'm saying? Everybody says you can't rap because you're a producer. Okay, oh, I ain't hear that beat. Oh yeah, I know, I produced it. I just rapped on it before you got a chance to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna use everything that everybody says that I can't do, and I'm gonna flip it to the positive.
So, that sounds like his whole career, by the way. Sounds like his whole career. We can even just talk about the recent one. People said he wouldn't be a president, and he ran for it. Not that clearly he is not the president, but
Right.
he definitely ran. He definitely tried, and you can only respect the person for trying because there are people who wouldn't. Right. Definitely different views. Definitely looked crazy out in these streets. But what we can respect from Kanye is that he does not care what people think. He's going to do whatever he wants to do. And that sense of freedom, I think a lot of us want.
Absolutely. Talk about that.
I think we care too much about what people say, and it stops us from really truly being who we were really put on this earth to be. But we sit and we try to get affirmations from people who haven't lived what we want to do and who haven't pretty much been even close to the success that we're trying to gain. And the best part about Kanye, whatever you may think about him, is that freedom of doing whatever he wants to do. Now, you may not agree, but that's not his concern. You may not like him, but that's not his concern. He's going to own his own record label. He's going to rap. He's going to be a CEO. He's going to win Grammys. He's going to be on the billboards. He's going to run for presidency. And no one stopped him.
Yeah.
He's going to have a Sunday service and talk about his faith. And no one's going to stop him because he doesn't allow anybody to stop him. And we allow people to stop us because of their own opinions about us or what we are doing because they think it's wrong. But who are they to say it's wrong? I love how he's like, yo, you suck at this. Well, you know what? I'm going to do it anyways. That almost gave him extra fuel to just prove people wrong. But there are too many people who have this fear of what people will say, right? I know I had this conversation on my IG Live, and this has been I call it a trending topic because I don't accept it from anybody. This whole imposter syndrome, right? And it took me a minute to like, what in the world is that? And that's literally like a personal fear, right, of being a fraud. Like of what people will think of them, and they doubt their skills and their talents and everything like that. Kanye did not suffer from that at all.
Clearly, no.
At all.
Man was good in that department.
Right. But what is and the crazy thing is I went off on this topic, but I'm big on we make up words and we put power to it. And now people are like, oh my God, that's me too. Oh my God, that's me too. But we're not looking at other individuals that are honestly doing something and being like, that could be me and that's me too.
Yo. You know.
Did that hit? I don't
Crazy. Oh, it definitely hit. Definitely hit. Yeah, because I'm just thinking like, think about how many times people approach relationships. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not just talking about personal relationships, I'm talking about professional relationships too. And And one of the common mistakes people make is, oh, we have a lot of things in common from our past. We should link up. And it's like, no, you don't get with someone because of the things that you share in common over your past. You get with people because of what you guys share in the future.
Yes.
So that is a big discrepancy, or just off the bat, something that people don't see and know that they're doing because they're getting with people based off of their past instead of where they're going. And the other thing is, they never flip the script and give themselves an opportunity to say a different story. I'm not going to name this person. We're working with someone right now who is definitely the top of his class. Absolute top of his class, right? Very high level. And this is a huge year for him, a huge opportunity, like to really set, just call it his own personal legacy.
Yeah.
What he's dealing with, and I'm going to speak very vaguely just again because I want to keep the confidentiality of the situation, but what he's dealing with.
That's what good coaches do, people. That's what good coaches do. I just want to put that out there.
It's something that, let's say, less than 10 people have dealt with in their lives. Less than 10, okay? Now, those 10, unfortunately, did not recover from it. But the entire time, he's been looking at it and saying, yo, believe it or not, this is mad rare. Only 10 people have gotten this ever, and they've never made it back. And I'm like, yo, this entire time you've been telling yourself the same story everybody else said. What about the reverse order? What about the fact that you guys have you have so many things in your favor that are different than those other 10? You're younger, right? Like you're in a sweeter position. You're making better investments. There's better healthcare. There are better opportunities, right? Like we never give ourselves the opportunity to tell ourselves the other side of the story. And I'm just saying, like, to your point with that, and I'm sorry, Kanye, we'll come back to you in just a moment. But to your point with that, it's like, yo, give yourself an opportunity to tell yourself a different side of the story.
Right.
Like just literally do the polar opposite or flip the script of what you would normally think. And because imposter syndrome is deep, man, like it's a real thing. It's a real thing.
I hear you on that. I do. I just think people use it as an excuse now. Like that we put a label on it, now they giving it power. Where before it was maybe just fear, like doubt of oneself, they now labeled it into imposter syndrome, which gave it an extra spice to it. And now they're like running with it. No.
Yeah. Well,
this is called, and I said this on my Instagram, and this is like no offense at all, but this is the same way as we hear a certain kind of sickness and all of a sudden we feel symptoms of it and we're like, yo, I think I have that too. Oh my God, I have that. It's flu season. You were not feeling sick. What are you talking about? You don't have a fever. I think I have it. Just feel my forehead. No. You don't have it. And so when you continue to hear something over and over again, and that's the thing, like over and over again, we've heard imposter syndrome. And then with people's lanes, they're like, oh my God, I think I suffered through imposter syndrome. You did? That's what you call it? Oh, I did that too. This makes sense why I did this, that, and third. And they hold on to it and they run with it. Like, that doesn't give you an excuse.
Yeah, because and again, I don't want to discount it because I feel like where you're coming from, but I know it's a real concept.
Right.
Where I do agree with you though is that people look for connection in some of the more broken areas sometimes. Like it's a broken concept. I don't know. While yes, I can connect and relate. To your point, it's not something that should be given power to.
Right.
But it's the desire to want to say, yo, me too.
Yeah.
That creates that concept where it's like, again, if we can if we can get out of our past and into our future, I'm not thinking about it that way. I can kind of say, yeah, it was a similar experience, but let's talk. Man, maybe that's something we need to do. Maybe we need to start talking more about our futures instead of our past.
I'm with that. I just don't want to give power and a title of acceptance to something negative.
Is it really acceptance though?
Yeah, I think it is.
Because you gave it a title, it becomes acceptance, you think?
If you give somebody you like a girlfriend title, like,
oh no, don't
is
do that.
Is that not a level of acceptance? Is that not a level of acceptance?
That's a different concept though.
You give somebody a title that is acceptance of everything that comes along with it. That's acceptance. You have this title. I use a very exaggerant one, but break it down. When you give a title, you accept everything that's part of that title. You almost become that.
I can see that. The girlfriend thing was a little much.
I know, that's just me. That's just me, okay? I didn't want to say wife. That was a little bit too dramatic, right?
That would have been extra.
Right. So I said girlfriend, but the sense of once you're given a title, you accept the roles and responsibilities and the character and the detailed characters of that title. You do.
I don't know why it's not. It's like I'm with you, but it's just not. It's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not like
because because this is the thing. I don't want to put light to it to those people who really like deal with that. So I don't want to discredit people, but at the same time, I do know more people who use it and is like, me too. I have imposter syndrome. This is why I'm still not doing it. Because I really suffered through imposter syndrome. But what are you doing to get out of it? Because
that's the part I was just about to say. Yeah. That's the part that I was about to say. That to identify but not diagnose or come up with a treatment plan, if we're gonna just make it, if we're gonna call it a sickness,
yes.
I think that's the real problem. Okay, I'm with you on that.
Yes.
I'm with you on that. Yeah. Because if you sit in it without a desire to kind of like, all right, well, how do I get over this fear of being a fraud? Then what fraud? Like, I get you. Okay.
Facts. Just saying. But we got a bonus one. This was not really a versus kind of thing. This is not like, because it's not fair. It's not fair it ended that way. But we got a bonus one, pretty much to, we're at the end of the year, depending on when you hear this, right? And this was one of the, breaking news. Hold on, breaking news. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Breaking news. Depending when you hear this, I'm gonna let this bomb drop. We just got 6,000 downloads of the podcast. Hey, just got the notification. Shout out to everybody who listens from day one to all our brand new listeners. Thank you. Just got that notifications, and I wanted to congratulate y'all. Y'all and congratulate us.
This is for the people.
This is for the people.
Absolutely.
But this was one, I think, of the most requested breakdowns from the both of us. And depending when you started listening to us in our Facebook Live days, well, we still do those, but the show part, we broke down the late, great Nipsey Hussle. And anybody knows me, I am big on Nip. Literally, you could go downstairs. I have like 4 or 5 Nipsey joints as far as canvases and everything like that. I don't know if you saw the new one. Did you see the new one in my stories?
I saw it late today. Yeah.
Fuego.
I joined is large, too. It like took up the whole wall, right?
It covers my whole chimney, kind of whatever, fireplace, like chimney. Lord.
Santa Claus, I get you. Okay. It's Christmas, it's all right.
Yeah,
I
man,
get
I think Santa's coming down. Anyways, so we're gonna go over one of the things that we've learned from Nip, and probably in the future, we're gonna do a whole podcast episode about Nip. And my whole thing, and Moose always knows, at least once a year, we're gonna go over Nip from the less, because he left not only an amazing legacy. Did you see the article he left? A $4.1 million estate. They finally, yeah, they finally did all like the appraisals and all that great stuff. And the estate is worth $4.1 million.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow. That's what's up.
That's
so dope.
Yeah, that's a legacy. That's right there. So we're gonna bring it back for the $100 mixtape lesson.
I don't ever make moves under pressure. I try not to. On Crenshaw, I've said this is gonna be the first time I give my fan base a directive and say, if you want to reciprocate for the inspiration that I've given you over the course of these 5 mixtapes, here's how you do it. Proud to pay. It's a $100 CD. Come to the pop-up shop. So I had won over enough people that we sold out the first 1,000 in the first day.
My whole intention was just get the people talking about it. I want everybody to, be like, why is he charging 100? What make you think it's worth 100?
Moose, you got it.
Yeah, I'm gonna just touch on the first part. Where he says, "I don't make moves under pressure," and I'm not trying to sound deep per se, but what I've done is I've tried surrounding myself with a series of frameworks and like things that I can use, like principles, if you will, to really guide what to do and what not to do. So when he says, "I don't make moves under pressure," it reminds me of something I read that says, "Never trust your tongue when your heart is bitter." Right?
First of all, you're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
Because, no, but it's true, because it's like, if my heart is bitter, then I can say some things that I probably can't take back. And it's that same exact framework for a business person, an entrepreneur, or personal brand especially. It's like not making moves under pressure that protects you from going down the wrong path. You might make a move because of the current circumstance or situation that you're in, probably overreact, say something that you're not supposed to say, do something that probably is not in the best interest for you, your brand, your business, or your family, and find yourself somewhere down the line, 6 months, a year, a couple years, like, how did I get here? And because you're not someone who operates under pressure. So I love that he starts with that, again, because you see successful figures giving you permission to say, not all successful people have to be sharp under pressure.
That's true. I like that.
You can definitely give yourself or surround yourself with others who are, and you know how that whole thing works. But I love that he started with that. I don't make moves under pressure.
Look, you know how I feel about Nip, and I'm not gonna go too deep.
But you're still gonna go deep.
I'm gonna try not to. All right, I'm gonna try not to. So, from this part only, because I'm already looking at the time. But I promise you, it's not gonna be that deep. The $100 mixtape changed a lot, and it's something that we can look at today and really still take note and take action on. Right? He took something that normally was only like $5 and he created a price point based off a book that he read, which was Contagious, right? And shout out to Big Bob, because I know Big Bob, and he gave me a copy of Contagious recently. Even though I read it, he gave it to me, and that's the person who taught Nipsey about all of branding and marketing, right? And so he took a mixtape, made it into $100, put it into a small, amount of mixtapes to sell, but he had a price point that he wanted to make. I think it was like 100K, right? So he was only selling a certain amount for $100, and they sold out. people like Jay-Z bought it because they saw like, yo, he's doing things different. And we look at that and we're like, yo, what are we doing that is kind of rattling the industry, and that we're doing something that is so left field that people have to almost check it out, because what he created was word of mouth. It wasn't even necessarily about the music, even though the music was good. It was about, how can I truly stand out in a very crowded area? He was independent. I was going to say at the time, but he died independent. So he was independent, and so there's a lot of things he had to take on himself. So when we're looking at a branding and marketing standpoint when it comes to our product, we have to try to look at what's already been done, but how do we put our spin to it? So mixtapes were already being done, but how does one independent artist create buzz of his own and be able to sell out instead of having the backing of the machine, aka the music, the record labels? So when he did that, it caused such a stir, because who in the world will sell a mixtape for $100? But when you do something for, a limited amount, you put any price tag to it, especially if you have a brand that has an amazing reputation, especially if you have the trust of the people. He created a fan base first. He put out a plethora of music before. But when he brought out his mixtape, he did a Proud to Pay campaign, and people were proud to pay for it.
All right.
They showed it and everything like that. They have the CDs, and shout out to those who still have the CDs to this day, right? He said, yo, as a music artist, we have to allow our fans to support us in some kind of way, because he also saw that things were going more into a streaming wave. So at some point, he would have to, as many people have heard me say, sell air, because that's what streaming pretty much is. You're selling an idea, thought, and experience. You're not selling anything physical. So he took, yo, the digital world is here. Let me still sell something physical and have memorabilia for my fans. And when we look at it from this standpoint of this day and age, we can still come out with our own product and services that is a limited amount and put a price tag to it if we've added enough value to our audience, if we've added enough value and attention to our tribe members. The money isn't necessarily the issue. People will pay whatever they deem you are worth. So if you put out $1,000 product and you've given so much value and you have a credible work ethic and trust with your fan base, with your audience, with your clients, with your tribe members, that 1,000 isn't anything. We concentrate on the things that we want. We find ways to get what we want, right? Hence why we will do anything to make sure we have a car or something. For those people who don't live in New York and don't need a car. But those people who need a car will find a way to get a car, right? We'll find a way to have maybe the PS5, even though we know we ain't got the money for a PS5. We'll find a way for it. We'll find a way for the newest Apple products. The phone came out, we got to buy it. Like, why? Because the brands have done such a remarkable job that they almost make it as a need. So I start off with a need, which is some people with the car, right? But the type of car isn't necessarily a need. It's the vehicle, but not the type of car, right? AirPods. The headphones may be a need, not those type of headphones. But people don't necessarily care if it's a need. They make it into a need based off what you've done for them, or the status that you make them feel, or the acceptance that you made them feel, right? The value that you've added to them. So what Nip did in the time when he was alive was create such a solid fan base that it didn't matter how much he sold that mixtape, people were going to buy it. He then down the line sold Mailbox Money for $1,000 and people bought it, right? Now, what are you doing with your brand that there is one or two things that you could put any kind of price point on and people are going to buy? If there's nothing like that, you need to still do a lot of work. You still need to do some nurturing, some value adds to people, right? You need to get your credibility right. Because what you can't sit here and say about Nip is that he didn't have any kind of credibility. He was very respected in the hip hop game. He was very respected as a leader, not only in LA or California, but like worldwide. So the thing that I always get from this interview, from this standpoint of the $100 mixtape, is understanding that it's really about the brand that you build and not necessarily the product that you have. Who are you as a person? Who are you as far as in the lives of your audience? How do they hold you? Because that's what's going to create the bag. It's not how good your music is. It's not how good your products or services, but who are you? Because people buy into people. People don't buy into a product. People don't buy into a service. Like, unless it's like an essential, of what we've learned this year, essential item, right? Music is not necessarily an essential item, but depending who you talk to, it is.
No, for real. That's life to them. Yeah.
Right. Depending who you talk to, it is. And so how are you creating something that's essential in people's lives? Because Nip did. And when he passed, it was very evident. It still felt to this day. So I say that, like, what are you doing to become essential in people's lives instead of just say want? Because that $100 mixtape became essential to certain people. So, yeah, that's all I got. I didn't go too deep. I'm still in time. Hey.
Love it.
So, real quick announcements. Every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central. I don't know. West Coast time?
4:30.
4:30 p.m. West Coast time. We are on Facebook every Tuesday, facebook.com/Nicky and Moose. We are live. We're answering your questions. We're doing kind of like exclusive conversations. So always join us there, and on all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, we're on there. Follow us. We hit 1K on all platforms. So that's a good look. That's all because of y'all. So we appreciate y'all. Moose, how did you feel about this episode?
I like the exchange. You know what I'm saying? We had an intelligent conversation. This was dope.
This was dope. Listen, we gotta go. We hope you liked this episode. But Moose, final words.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, give yourself permission to break the rules, man. Give yourself permission to break the rules. Like, it is okay to do against what has been done traditionally. Again, in today's day and era, it is people who break the rules that are giving themselves an opportunity to get ahead. So don't be afraid to be like, man, I'm kind of walking outside of my comfort zone or outside of what I would normally do. That's okay, all right? You need to be you. Break the rules, be you.